If there's one thing I've learnt on my short time on this planet, it's that you should never trust the British about anything. Not even the history surrounding the very own demise of their glorious empire. And while the fall of the British Empire was a very ambiguous affair, there was one key figure who threaded the needle of their rapid demise, whose name and face was wiped off the history books, until they resurfaced in 2007. That's right, Hatsune Miku was one of the missing pieces of the puzzle. But how can Hatsune Miku be a driving force in such matters when her entire existence is dependent on the internet? Well, it's a long story, because on the 6th of December 1945, the Anglo-American Loan Financial Agreement was agreed upon by the US and British government. This agreement entailed a US loan to the UK government of $3.75 billion, which was repayable over 50 years. This was both a financial and political move, which was made to keep the US and UK very close together. On July the 4th, 1947, the Roswell incident occurred, where a UFO crash was rumoured to have taken place in Albuquerque, New Mexico. This theory is fueled by the fact that the US Army announced that they had captured a flying saucer, which made international headlines, before the US Army took down the statement and announced they had recovered a weather balloon instead. But the damage had already been done, because despite this instant media retraction, the British government would have heard about this incident and would have wanted in, due to the tantalising temptation of having alien technology. I mean, how could you say no? And obviously, given the fact that the British government had agreed to the Anglo-American loan less than a year ago, a loan which they would have had to pay 2% interest rate per annum for, they could have easily threatened to pull out of this loan, which would have caused for great political unrest right after the end of World War II, so the Americans would have begrudgingly obliged and let the British have access to alien technologies. So now, the British and American army would have had an arsenal of alien technologies at their disposal, like anal probes and probably the internet, which was a US government invention, by the way. And we all know that Miku hides in your router, so she was hiding in the alien's Wi-Fi, which explains why she's out of this world. It's a funny joke, I know. Hatsune Miku, being so closely involved with the American and British army, should have had to monitor them in secret. And these years of hiding caused for her to start.
Excuse me? Are you British?
Yes, Papa.
Oh no! Oh no! Hatsune Miku does not talk to British people.
To hate the British. And this made her grift to Japan, like everyone else who doesn't like where they're from. Now this invoked a sense of Japanese nationalism in some of the many canon Mikus, resulting in her becoming a symbol for Japanese imperialism in songs like Senzaboku Karai and 1925. In fact, the song 1925 refers to the Peace Preservation Law of 1925, a Japanese law which repressed government dissent, derailing Japan into World War II. And obviously, World War II was one of the many reasons why the British Empire fell, and in the music video, Miku is dressed as the conductor, which makes her a symbol for pre-World War II Japanese imperialism and nationalism. While you might argue that that doesn't fit my theory's timeline at all, however, Hatsune Miku used the tunnel effect, where the particles of Miku pass through the energy barrier of time itself. Now, one of our main arguments supporting this entire video is that Hatsune Miku can be anything you want her to be, and every Miku is canon, so my theory is right and you're wrong. And obviously, because Miku can be anything you want her to be, I want her to be Mahatma Gandhi, who is a person who peacefully sparked the flames of colonial rebellion against British rule, causing for an eventual domino effect as the empire began to lose one colony after the other until it didn't become an empire anymore. And obviously, like I said earlier, because every Miku is canon, I've made Miku Mahatma Gandhi, or Hatsune Gandhi, to better illustrate this fact. You know what? I even drew Hatsune Gandhi here in my Hello Kitty journal. I never really was an artist anyways. Now, I know I didn't explain very well how Miku was erased by the British, but it's what the British do best. I bet that if you go to the Japanese section of the British Lost Property Museum, also known as the British History Museum, you'll probably see Miku amongst all the other stolen goods. Or maybe the Miku cabinet is almost as empty as Arsenal's trophy cabinet in recent years. I really want to make a lasagna gate reference throughout this video, but I couldn't find any room for it. But I still hope you...